Hi there, Kirk Euler back with you. Whole bunch of data. Woke up at 4:47 yesterday morning. Bolt of lightning hit me about one of the last posts I did, just as the governor was on the verge of shutting down our state again. About 80% of the businesses affected by his latest shutdown in our state. I put up a video talking about how the businesses that were open aren't what's causing the problem. It's not this. It's not the nail salon that's causing the problem. It is, in fact, this. 50,000 people gathering together to shoot a music video on in the first part of June, packed together in the streets of Los Angeles. That's what was causing the problem. It wasn't this. People getting together at their gym and working out. That was the problem. It was this. Tens of thousands of people taken to the streets in San Francisco. That was the problem. And I woke up the other morning and it occurred to me, if I'm right, then the data is going to show it. And the data is not just going to show it for those of us here in California. The data is going to show it nationally because, as you know, these protests, these riots, this looting, it's a national problem. And so if I'm right, the data is going to show it's national. But before I get into the data, let's talk a little bit about the politics of this as opposed to the policy. Now, I've had issues with our public health officer because I don't believe that she's necessarily acting in the best interest from a policy standpoint, but that politics have come into play. And I think we're seeing that when we have 1,200 public health officers who get together and sign a letter that says, by the way, I have tried to find the signatures of the 1,200 public health officers and officials, public health officials that they reference in the CNN story. I can't find it anywhere. So if any of you know where that information lives as to who actually did sign this, the 1,200 people they reference, I'd love to see that. But this is what they call for, all right? Therefore, we propose the following guidance to support public health during the protest, during the riots. This is what they recommend. Support local and state governments in upholding the right to protest and allow protesters to gather. So, again, this is no problem. Let's let that happen. That's no problem. Do not disband protests under the guise of maintaining public health for COVID-19 restrictions. So don't say we're not going to allow that under the guise of public health. Advocate that protesters not be arrested. Demand that law enforcement officials also respect infection prevention recommendations by maintaining distance from protesters. Anyway, so my contention is that it is the protests, the riots, the looting that we have seen in California and nationally that is driving these numbers. It's not small businesses. It's not mom and pop shops opening. So we're about to get into the data, but I'm going to make one request. I've never done this before. If you know anybody living in Georgia, Florida, Texas, Arizona, California, Oregon, or Washington, please share this video. Please share this video. It's imperative that this information get out because, as I've been saying all along, we can only make decisions that are in the best interest of public health if we have the data. And I think people living in those jurisdictions need to see this data. So again, what's the contention? The contention is that we allowed businesses to reopen too soon, and that's what drove the spike that we saw in June and into July. Let's check the data. A little awkward doing it this way, but I don't know of any other way to do this. So we're going to start up here in Georgia. What you're looking at right there in Georgia is on April 24th, Governor Kemp in Georgia on April 24th allowed salons, gyms, barbershops, tattoo parlors, and bowling alleys to reopen on the 24th. On the 27th, in-restaurant dining was allowed. Look at what happened to the line. April 24th, April 27th, dead ass flat all the way through. Now, every slide you're going to see has the little yellow dot on it. That's May 25th. That's the day that George Floyd was brutally murdered by that police officer in Minneapolis. So May 25th, you're going to see represented on every slide, and then you're going to see June 8th. June 8th is 2 weeks from May 25th. So somewhere in here, between May 25th and June 8th, people start to gather together, people start to scream and yell and chant and say outrageous things. And what happens subsequent to that? Well, businesses open, and for 6 weeks, nothing. George Floyd is killed. 2 weeks later, look what happens to the occurrences in Georgia. It wasn't the businesses, it was the protests. What about Florida? Florida, April 30th, Governor DeSantis allows the stay-at-home order to expire. May 4th, most businesses, including restaurants, gyms, personal services, are allowed to start reopening. Dead ass flat for the entire month of May. George Floyd killed, slight bump here, and then, as of June 8th, takes off like a rocket. What about Texas? Texas, May 1, dine-in, retail, movie theaters, museums and libraries. May 5, weddings, local governments. May 8th, hair, nail salons, barbers, and tanning. Flat all the way through. June 8th, takes off. 2 weeks after the death of George Floyd. What about Arizona? May 8th, retail and salons. May 11th, dining. Flat. 2 weeks after happens to be May 25th, the death of George Floyd. So if it was the restaurants, if it was the businesses, we'd have seen the spike out here, right? We'd have seen it out here, right? We'd have seen it out here, right? If it's the restaurants or the businesses, we'd have seen it all the way back here. But no, where are we seeing it? 2 weeks after. Well, we got a slight bump in Arizona a little earlier, right around the first part of June, and then it just takes off. Now, what about California? California is interesting because in California, Governor Newsom has kept us mostly under lockdown into June. Now, Placer County was allowed to open right around the May 12th. Placer County opened right around May 12th. They were one of the first ones into Phase 3. But he didn't even issue guidance for Phase 3 for most counties until about the first week in June. So right around here is when he issues that guidance. So he is now saying, well, obviously because he issued the guidance here, that's why this happened, right? That's what he's saying. However, what do we know about Los Angeles County? We know that Los Angeles County represents about 40% of all cases in the state of California. They're 25% of our population. They're about 40% of all the cases. Look at Los Angeles County. Cruising right along. Here's May 25th, death of George Floyd. Here's June 8th, 2 weeks after. Here's June 19th. Why is June 19th important? Because Los Angeles County did not open professional services and all those other things until June 19th. Look what is already happening in Los Angeles County, beginning not long after May 25th, but certainly by June 8th. Los Angeles County has taken off. Their businesses hadn't even opened. Nail salons, gyms hadn't even opened. How about up in Oregon? Up in Oregon, state of Oregon, just kind of cruising right along. Here on May 15th, Governor Brown up in Oregon allows 31 of 36 counties to start to reopen. So Governor Brown up in Oregon is saying, well, obviously, those counties opening up right there is what caused this, right? Well, what do we know about Multnomah? I think that's how it's pronounced, that word right there. Multnomah County, which is where Portland is. Well, that one county represents about 20% of the population in the state of Oregon. What happened in that county? In that county, Multnomah County, this is straight from their website. Here's their cases going down, down, down. We get to May 25th. They start to bump and they take off like a rocket, just like everybody else. Here we are, June 8th. Look, we're already taking off like a rocket after May 25th. June 19th. Now, why is June 19th important in Multnomah County? Businesses weren't allowed to open in that county until June 19th. Just like in Los Angeles, businesses were not allowed to open until June 19th. Multnomah County, they couldn't open until June 19th. The spike has already started before the businesses open. Let's jump up to Washington. Look at Washington's numbers. coming down, down, down. Death of George Floyd starts to go up, up, up. Now, they're shutting down businesses because obviously, again, businesses are the problem. They issued their county-by-county phased plan on May 31st. So Governor Inslee up there is saying, well, obviously it's our businesses opening because we allowed them right around May 31st. We allowed them to open. Obviously, that's what's caused this. However, what's the problem with that? Well, King County is where Seattle is. King County represents about 30% of the population of the state of Washington. These are the numbers from King County. Here's May 25th. Here's June 8th, 2 weeks after the death of George Floyd. Here's June 19th. Why does that date matter? Because just like Portland and Los Angeles, Seattle was not allowed to reopen until June 19th. The numbers are already skyrocketing before they open. So we look and we see state by state, regardless of when they issued their county guidance, end of May, middle of May, first week in June, or said we're opening up March 24th, April 24th, April 30th, May 1st, May 8th. Every single one of these 7 states see the exact same trajectory, regardless of when they open their businesses. So you would think that that would hold true then for the nation as a whole, wouldn't you? You'd be right. That is the reported occurrence of COVID cases in the United States as a whole. Dropping, dropping, dropping. Death of George Floyd, June 8th, takes off. So, if this theory were to hold true, that it is the protests that are driving this, then there'd be another data point that would be consistent, and that would be incidence by age group. What we would see is a spike in reported cases amongst those in the age group of those that are protesting. That age group happens to be the 18 to 49-year-old age group, are the ones that are protesting and rioting and looting. And what we saw was for the first 12 weeks of recording the data from March 8th through May 24th, the day before George Floyd was killed, for those 12 weeks, this age group represented 39% of all the cases, 39%. What has happened in the 8 weeks since? They jumped up to 55% of the reported cases, from 39% to 55%. That is a 41% increase, 41% increase in the number of cases in this age group. I don't know how to say it any other way. We're being lied to. The data proves that we're being lied to. Pardon me. It's a little warm in here. I'm in my office on the weekend. The air conditioner's not on. It's a little warm in here, so I apologize. But the data proves we're being lied to. This has nothing to do with our businesses. This has everything to do with the ongoing riots and these lawless protests that are taking over the streets of America. And so I encourage Governor DeSantis, Governor Kemp in Georgia, Governor Abbott in Texas, Governor Ducey in Arizona, get your arms around the problem. The problem isn't your small businesses. The problem is the rioters. The problem is the protests that are allowed to go late into the evening without social distancing and all that. Get your arms around that problem and you will be addressing the public health in your state. Now, as for Governor Newsom, Governor Brown in Oregon, and Governor Inslee in Washington, quit lying. Set aside the political agenda and put the public health as priority number 1. And public health includes people's ability to make a living. Put that as priority number 1. Knock this crap off. I'd say shame on you, but it's clear you have no shame.